morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, with the Candy Man, the Pick Master himself, Mr. Johnny H. And his camera's off. I don't know if he's there or not. John, are you there? Okay, I don't think John is there, but I want to let everybody know to please head over to all our social medias, TikTok and X over at the Huddle Pod, and also on YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. The Huddle Hub Pod is the link to where you can find us everywhere. So the YouTube used to be at the Huddle Hub Podcast, but it is now the Huddle Hub Pod. But today, let's run down the dockets. We're going to be doing the news of the day. We are also going to be talking about the UFL, and we are also going to be doing our 1.0 predictions for the playoffs. And then we are going to be getting you guys ready for next week, our second edition of our mock draft, the mock draft 2.0. We are going to talk a little bit about the draft today as well, because we finally got a first look at what it's going to look like out in Green Bay, Wisconsin. There he is. There's John. John, how you doing on a football Sunday?
Doing good.
John,
good. How are
can't
you?
hear you. There you go. I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Just letting everybody know what we're doing today. We're doing the news, talking UFL, and we're doing our playoff prediction 1.0. And we're going to talk a little bit about the draft, because some news has been coming out about the draft. Like, we got a first look at what it's going to look like in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the draft. Speaking of the draft, to let everybody know that we will be here on April 24th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday night, round one, night one for the NFL draft as a special watch along. We'll be starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Huddle Hub Podcast Twitch channel. So come join us for the pre-show and then the show itself. So, John, let's get into the first segment of the day, the news coming out of the NFL. So, first things first, your wish has come true. And you know what that is?
Is it? What?
Can you hear me? Hello?
I said what?
I said your wish. Okay, your wish has come true, John. Joe Flacco has signed a 1 year worth $4 million deal with the Browns. He is back in the Browns facility. He is going to be their quarterback this year. You've been saying it. Joe Flacco should be a Brown, and now he is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Smartest move they could have made. Get your quarterback next year, and then groom Kenny Pickett, which they probably won't. He's more of a backup than a starter, but so
well, I mean, there's a lot of talk about.
See that move. I don't think it makes out of it.
There's a lot of talk about what the Browns might do when it comes to the quarterback position, whether it's going into the draft and everything. But as of right now, Joe Flacco, it looks like he is going to be their starting quarterback. So whether they make a move for Jackson Dart
on their roster.
What's that?
That he's the best quarterback on their roster. Of course, he's going to be on their starter. I don't think they've moved for Dart. At number 3, definitely not.
Well, there's also talk.
2, definitely not. Too early.
There's also talk about them possibly going after Shedeur Sanders at 2, but I think they're going to go after Abdul Carter from Penn State. So it seems like Abdul Carter's the best pick for them to go after to help even out the defensive line.
One or the other.
So we'll definitely have to see what the Browns do, but they did go out and sign Joe Flacco, 1 year, $4 million deal. So we'll see what the Browns end up doing. Patrick Peterson, quarterback from the Cardinals, decided to retire after 13 seasons. So the Cardinals losing Patrick Peterson. I'm a Patrick Peterson fan. I like Patrick Peterson. Hate to see him retire, but the Cardinals losing Patrick Peterson. Your thoughts on Patrick Peterson retiring? Had a great career this year, or this for his career.
Yeah, he definitely had a great career. Hall of Fame career. Good to see him come back and retire a Cardinal. So he was a very good cornerback for a very long time.
Yeah, well, we've seen Patrick Peterson played for the Cardinals. He also played for the Vikings for a couple years. So Patrick Peterson did decide to retire. Drew Lock, he signed a deal with the Seahawks. He's going to go and be a backup to Sam Darnold. So we got Sam Darnold and Drew Lock in the quarterback room for the Seahawks. Do you have any thoughts on Drew Lock heading back to Seattle?
A good backup for Sam Darnold, definitely. So he's going back to where he got traded from. I don't blame him for leaving the Giants at all. I would want to get out of that dumpster fire too. But good move for them. Backup, got a decent backup to Darnold in case they would need it. Hopefully they don't need him, but he's there if they do.
Yeah, and the Texans, they extended cornerback Jalen Pitre for a 3-year, $39 million deal, helping out their defensive backfield. Also, Trey McBride, something that we didn't cover last week. This happened about 2 weeks ago, so I went to cover it today. Trey McBride, tight end for the Cardinals, decided to sign a 4-year deal worth $76 million. He is getting $16.5 million signing bonus, and he's getting $43 million guaranteed. He is now the highest paid tight end in NFL history. Trey McBride. Thoughts on that?
He deserves it. Hell of a tight end since he's been drafted by the Cardinals. One of the top tight ends every year. He's the highest paid for now until the next person gets their deal, but well deserved, very well deserved.
Yeah, definitely. Trey McBride is going to be a top tight end in the league, and he definitely deserves his pay. And I could see him having hopefully a lengthy career for him. Hopefully, because he is one hell of a tight end, a top tight end in the league. John, I did some studying. Okay. Now, Josh Johnson, as we know, he got drafted back in 2000. Oh well, he came into the NFL in 2008. Okay.
Yeah.
And he became what we would call a journeyman for
the quarterback, right?
Yeah, Josh Johnson, the quarterback. That's what I'm talking about. 40
He's a bum quarterback.
40-year-old quarterback, okay? This is his breakdown, okay? Now, we know he's played for a ton of teams.
At least 8.
12 to be exact, okay? Now,
it was a high number.
Now, here's his breakdown. For the Buccaneers, from 2008 to 2011, he made $1.9 million. For the 49ers between 2012 and 2014, and then in the year 2022, he made a combined $3.9 million. For the Browns in 2012, made $700,000. For the Bengals from 2013 to 2015, made $2.6 million. For the Jets and the Bills in 2015, each team paid him $745,000. For the Giants between 2016 and 2018, paid him $2.7 million. The Texans in 2017 paid him $900,000. The Raiders in 2018 paid him $1 million. The Ravens in 2021 and then in 2023 to 2024 paid him $2.3 million. The Broncos in 2022 paid him $1.2 million, and the Commanders/Redskins, as of right now, have paid him $915,000. Now, he went back and signed with the Commanders. It is unsure what he's getting paid, but his combined money that he has made since 2008. Are you ready to hear this? This is nuts.
Yeah.
And this is just a rough estimate addition, okay? He has only made $19.6 million since 2008.
Believe it? He's a third-string quarterback. They don't get paid much. By NFL standards, I mean, I believe it. He's not a good quarterback. He doesn't deserve to get $100 million and stuff.
But his journey, I mean, looking at this thing, it has been nuts. I mean, he went from the Bucs to the Niners to the Browns, Bengals, Niners, Bengals, Jets, Bills, Giants, Texans, Raiders, Redskins, Ravens, Broncos, Niners, Ravens, and now the Commanders. That was his
He's
journey.
only a starter for one team, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he's terrible.
Yeah, but that is Josh Johnson's career and his journey through the NFL. And I was like, I want to break this down. I want to know how much he has made in his career since 2008.
I was
So I did the
wondering
math.
why we were talking about a bum quarterback out of nowhere. I'm like, what?
Because I was just curious because he was in the news so much this week with signing with the Commanders. It was made big news.
This is the first I heard about it. I didn't see him in the news at all.
It was in the news all week and it was being talked about all week, which is nuts, which
Not-
blew my mind.
Not by what I watch.
Well, you know me, I listen to a lot of football talk, and he was a key talking point when the Commanders were talked about. But there's other stuff in the news. The Steelers, Mike Tomlin, this happened actually since yesterday, had said that the Aaron Rodgers decision will not affect their draft decision come draft day. It will not affect their draft decision on day 2 nor day 3. Whether Aaron Rodgers decides to sign with the Steelers before, during, or after the draft, they are going to move forward with their plan on what they're going to do with the draft. So, for example, if they decide when their pick comes up on Thursday, April 24th, they pick what, number 20, 21? If they decide to go quarterback, they're going. Right now, they are projected to go with Shedeur Sanders from Colorado.
He's not going to be there. Sanders not going to last that long.
You don't think he will?
I don't think he will. I could see the Saints stepping up and drafting him. I could see the Raiders stepping up and drafting him. I don't think he lasts that long.
Well, another quarterback that has been being talked about highly this past week was Jackson Dart. Now
he's still quarterback 3 of the top 3, so Sanders should go before Dart.
I mean, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders were the 2 top quarterbacks that are being talked about. Jackson Dart being talked about a lot this past week. Therefore, there's a possibility that Jackson Dart could go to the Saints because there was a lot of talk about that connection. So, I mean, the Saints are picking at what, number 8, number 9? They're picking at number 9. So there's a possibility that Jackson Dart can even jump Shedeur Sanders.
I don't see it though. He's too big of a prospect in everybody's eyes. I don't see it, but a lot of people do.
Well, whether it happens or not, I mean, the Steelers coming out and making the statement, Mike Tomlin specifically saying that Aaron Rodgers' decision is not going to affect the Steelers on draft day 1, 2, or 3, which I like. It should not.
That tells me he's either not planning on drafting a quarterback or planning on drafting a quarterback maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah.
But so I don't see them taking a quarterback in the 1st round, especially since everybody knows it's a given Aaron Rodgers is going to go there. He's just taking his sweet old time to get there.
Well, right now, as far as things are shown, that the quarterback position is, I believe, 3rd or 4th on the list right now, as far as percentages and what's going to come out of the first 2 rounds in the draft. The highest is the defense and offensive lines. That's the highest percentage of what's going to be picked first when it comes to the draft.
Yeah, there's only a handful of decent quarterbacks in this draft. The rest are all project guys or guys that hope to make the team.
Yeah. So we'll have to definitely see what happens when it comes to the draft for the Steelers. And we're going to actually talk about the draft in a little bit here. One thing that I do definitely want to talk about today with us leading into the draft, we are about 10 days from the draft, at least 10 or 11 days from the draft. So not too far from the draft, April 24th. And it is the 13th. So yeah, we're about 11 days from the draft. So we'll talk about the draft in a few moments because some things have come out about the draft today, especially a first look at what the draft stage is going to look like inside Lambeau Field. So that has been released. So we're going to take a look at that. In other news, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's in the news again, John. Can you believe that?
Think about this one.
You ready for this? This is probably not too a surprise, but at the same time,
It didn't surprise me.
It's not good news. Another domestic allegation. This time, it doesn't only involve his wife, but it also involves a child. There's also talk about him getting traded to Green Bay. If you were the Packers organization and this stuff came out, would you be pushing to trade for Tyreek Hill?
That's exactly who I said a couple weeks ago that
Last week.
Go for him. Yep, last week. Trade him, one of your young receivers. They have 3. They have the room for him. That's exactly who I said should go for him. I would, because until it's innocent until proven guilty. So until he actually is guilty and a punishment comes down, I would go right for him.
Now, it wasn't stated on whether he was arrested or if he was booked or anything like that. It's just allegations. Exactly. Allegedly, the wife is filing for divorce, immediate divorce, and has left the home. The child has left the home. I mean, I heard about this news yesterday, and the one thing I always say is these players, okay, they get paid big money, more money than me or you will probably ever see in a lifetime. Am I correct on that?
Oh, yeah, they get way overpaid.
Okay. I mean, even Josh Johnson, $19.6 million in his career. Probably more money than me or you will ever see in our lifetime. Okay. Keep a clean head. Keep your head on straight. Make sure you're doing the right thing. Stay out of trouble. It's not hard. We are in a time of the digital world to where you don't necessarily have to go out to get in trouble. You can get in trouble at home, obviously, but there's enough things to do in the home to where you could keep yourself out of trouble. Whether it's streaming, video gaming, watching movies, watching TV, or sleeping, or just hanging out, you can do a lot of things to keep yourself out of trouble. Also, Tyreek Hill has very much shown on TV what his home looks like. That is a big enough house to where if something is happening, walk the freak away. Bottom line, walk away. Cool your head down. Instead, you put yourself in this position. You're a superstar and an idol to children. And you put yourself in this position to make yourself look bad. And now you have the opportunity to go to one of the most prestigious franchises in the NFL in the Green Bay Packers. And you can end up screwing that up for yourself too. Pending on the allegations. We say this at least once a year on this show, that we've been doing this show, John. We've been doing this show. This is our, third season now? Third year doing this show. Doing a football podcast. 5th year overall, because we used to have East versus West, and we did that for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But we've talked about stuff like this all the time. All you got to do is keep a clean head on straight. That's it. It's not hard to do. But there's a possibility Tyreek goes to Green Bay. And these are all just allegation. We'll definitely have to see what happens.
Yeah, nothing's been proven yet. It's all just talk right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same as situation with Rashid Rice, Xavier Worthy, out in Kansas City. Two situations that have been cleared up, and they're done now. But it's just the fact. Keep your head on straight. And that's all you got to do. You're in the eyes of the public. Everybody's watching you. Everybody. And again, we're in the day and age of digital world to where everybody has a camera out. Which means there's always proof of something. And I'm sure He has cameras in his house. I'm just saying. So, but that's all I got from the news stuff, John. I don't know if you have anything with the news, anything in regards.
Oh yeah, the biggest news is in the world of college football right now.
Go for it. If you have something, say it. Oh, I do have one more. I do have one more thing we got to talk about. So sorry,
Go for it.
but go for it. What's in college football?
Former, yes, I say former Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava. He turned down his NIL deal from Tennessee. Yes. And Tennessee said, you know what? And I completely agree with Tennessee on this.
Well, they didn't want to up their NIL deal money, which he requested, and he decided he's going to enter the transfer portal.
Well, Tennessee said we're moving on without him. That's what they said. They said no one man is bigger than the team, even including me. That's what the coach said. And I completely agree with that. I am very interested to see where Nico is going to head. I think that's the biggest news in football right now.
Okay.
Well, second biggest news, because I have a bit of a breaking news.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read this right off of the Big E's website because it's breaking news on their website. Former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy was found dead Saturday night in Houston. An LSU official confirmed to ESPN on Sunday. Cause of death was not immediately known. Lacy was accused of crashing a car that killed a 78-year-old man on December 17th and then fleeing the scene. I remember when that happened.
Yeah. I remember that news. 10th,
January 12th, he turned himself into the authorities and was released on $151,000 bail.
Wow.
So sadly, this young man, I don't know if it was accidental or if it was on purpose, is no longer with us.
That's sad.
It is.
At such a young age. And here's the thing is, again, with what happened back in December, do we know the full extent of the story? Do we know exactly what caused what? Was he speeding? Was it just an accidental thing? Who knows? We don't know. And what's up, Tommy? Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate you being here. Again, you don't know, whether it's accidental or, it's obviously an accident, but was he speeding? Was he paying attention to what he was doing? Anything like that. We don't know. So we can't sit here and accuse him of, the whole, again, keeping your head on straight thing. You don't know. You can't sit here and accuse on whether he was doing something that was distracting him from driving, got in the accident, anything like that. Okay. Fast forward to this. Okay. And like John said, you don't know if something caused this because we don't know the full story yet. This happened overnight. So I'm sure as the days go on, we will find out the story and we'll have a more understanding on what happened to him. Look at you.
honest to goodness, I just woke up with a nap, which is why I just came in with a white shirt on. And I felt so awkward and so out of place just sitting here looking at my screen with me in a white shirt. And I'm like, man, I feel so naked right now. I need to throw a jersey on when I do this show or it just doesn't feel right. I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I'll be right back.
I'm in the middle of talking about something completely serious and he pops on with the jersey. But back into it, like we will never know that. We don't know the full extent to this story yet. We're probably going to find things out as the days go on, but for such a young life to be taken so soon, whether it was something accidental, something that caused it, or, self-infliction, you don't know.
I hope he wasn't about to be found guilty and get sent away for a long time and then he ended his own life. I hope that's not the case.
Well,
I hope it was something accidental.
I mean, if it was self-infliction, just, this is a reminder to everybody that mental health is real.
Got that right.
And that's that. Mental health is real. And a lot of people, myself, I suffer from it. John, you have mentioned you suffered from it. Mental health is a real deal. And we have to let everybody know that if you are suffering, to please seek help and do not be afraid to speak out.
Yeah, ignoring it like I did is not the best.
Ignoring it is not the best.
Definitely not the best thing to do.
So, John, we do have one more thing to talk about. The NFL had, we had the NFL meetings about a couple weeks ago, and there was a couple things that was talked about. We talked about a lot of the rule changes last week. There is one thing we did not touch on last week that I would like to touch on. They are going digital with the first down markers, okay? And that means there is a sensor that is going to be ran.
Health is real.
Exactly. It definitely is real. There is going to be a digital line that runs across the field that is going to determine whether there's a first down or not. Just, John, check this out.
This is exactly how first down reviews are going to look in the NFL next season. They adopted this method in the UFL this year, and this is a really good instance of it being used. We're just going to let the sequence play out, and you'll see how long the process takes. So they haven't started the review yet, and they actually did award him with the first down, but since it was so close, they decided to take another look at it. And this is when the review started. What's happening right now is they've sent the decision to the replay center in New York, where they'll use the data from Sony's Hawkeye virtual measurement system to determine whether the line to gain was picked up. This system relies on 6 8K cameras around the stadium that optically track the position of the ball. All 30 NFL stadiums, as well as the international venues that'll host games, have been equipped with this technology. This is the same tech they use in tennis to determine if a ball was in or out, and in soccer to determine goals and offsides. Now, at the same time that they're determining the outcome, the system is also generating a virtual recreation that will be shown both in the stadium and on the broadcast, as you'll see here in a second. So, they've made the call, and they found that he was actually short of the line to gain by 0.2 inches. This precision is incredible, and it usually only takes around 30 seconds, which is less than half of the time that it takes for the chain gang. But don't worry, if you're a huge fan of the chain gang, they'll still be on the sidelines for secondary purposes.
Now, John, I'm going to get your opinion on this this new technology in a second. But as we've seen, all the stadiums are equipped with this technology now. So how do you feel about this new technology to determine first downs? Do you think it's going to be helpful to determine whether we have a first down or not? And it's also going to be technology that could be used to whether a ball crosses the goal line or not for a touchdown.
I love it. I love it. It's precise. It's quicker. The chain gang isn't always right. There's human error into it because obviously humans are doing it. So I like it. I like that we're going to see virtual views of it. My question is, how do you determine where the ball is during, say, the tush push or the quarterback sneak, where you can't really get a clear view of the ball? You just got to see where he kind of ends up with it. But I'm actually really excited about this. I think it's going to be more accurate than the old way. It's going good for the UFL, so I don't have a problem with the NFL implementing it.
So what happens is if they have a challenge on whether it's a first down or not, the crew goes over and calls up to New York, the judging crew. They are the crew that is going to say, okay, the ball is placed on, let's say, the 37-yard line. Okay, the nose of the ball has to be on the 37-yard line. Okay, then what they do is they go into the process of looking at the digital, the technology that's there, that digital line that goes across the field, and then they determine whether the ball clears the line or not. Even a nose hair of the ball crosses that line, it's a first down.
But certain plays you can't see the ball. That's what I'm asking. I'm curious to see how they're going to do that.
Well, there's actually going to be a 360 camera technology that is around the stadium that's going to be going around. So there's going to be more cameras in the stadium to where they have an angle everywhere.
That's 360.
Yeah, a 360 view of everything that's happening in the trenches. So this is cool new technology that we're basically being invited into the trenches of football now, which is great, which is awesome. I'm excited. When I played football, I was in the trenches. I was on the end of the trenches. I played tight end and defensive end, but I was still in the trenches. So, to be invited into the NFL level of the trenches, even digitally, is just so cool. It's so cool, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see how this technology goes. So, yeah, it definitely is, Jamie. It is super neat. It is awesome technology. And I've read more into this, and the percentage of success for this is like a 98.7 or something like that. It's so successful. So we'll have to see. But John, that's it. That's all I got for the news. It's all you got for the news, I'm guessing. So let's get into talking about the NFL draft. Okay. Yep. Now I came across oh my gosh, I had it up here and then it left me. Jeez. What the heck? I had a presentation here and I wanted to bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up in a second here. So, as we know, draft day is upon us, and draft day is upon us. Sorry, I had something else playing in my ear there for a second. Draft day is upon us, and there's a cool process. What's that?
In 11 days.
11 days, yes. And there's a cool process. We always wonder how the NFL always has a jersey prepared and the hats prepared for the players that get drafted, right? Well, I came across this video this morning, and
I know how they do it too.
Yeah, we get a first look on how they do this. So check this out. This is from the NFL.
On the radio, you tell the Nike team what name is picked. If the player is here, they pull the name, it goes on to the press, jerseys are made, jersey is out to the commissioner in 90 seconds.
This is so cool.
So we're
they make it real time.
We're proud to supply all the caps for all the draftees. And as soon as we get the pick, we pull their size. In every box, we have 2 of every size for every team. When the guy gets picked, we can easily see their size and get the cap ready.
Pick is in. Stand by. With the 15th pick, the Indianapolis Colts select Laiatu Latu.
UCLA defensive end.
All right, we're going to do commissioner in 30.
Well, we just saw some cheering in the Colts draft room, which means the clock is just a mere formality.
20 to the commissioner. 3, 2, 1, go commissioner.
All right, here's the Colts pick.
The Indianapolis Colts select Laiatu Latu, defensive end, UCLA.
There is defense in the NFL.
And he is the first defensive player selected in the 2024 NFL draft. The commissioner showed Latu his name on the jersey for the first time, and he took his.
That is such a cool process. Such a cool process.
How funny would it have been? It's something I would do. It's when the commissioner shows your name, you're like, that's spelled wrong. Just the best.
I mean, that's one thing I'm sure they prepare on, is like they make sure that the spelling's right and everything like that. I don't think they want to make that mistake.
I know. I would just do it to mess with them.
I mean,
I knew about the jerseys being made real time. I didn't know about the hats though. So that's a lot of pressure. You have like 30 seconds to get a jersey ready.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a lot of pressure for Nike.
The cool thing is though,
whoever makes it.
The cool thing is though, is they have that team that's there. They have a team of like 7-8 people just for the name, and then they have a team of like 5 people just for the hats. So the
names pre-ready. They just have to pull it out on file, slap it on, heat press it, and bam, you're good to go.
It's a well-oiled machine, and that's why the draft is as big as it is. Speaking of as big as it is, John, we know that the draft is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, at Lambeau Field this year in 2025, and then in 2026 it'll be out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit closer to home. But we got a first look at what what Green Bay is going to look like on draft night. So this is a digital viewing of what Lambeau Field is going to look like for draft night, which is really cool. This looks neat. We also get the top view of, actually, it's going to be over in this area right here. So it's not going to be inside Lambeau. It's going to be outside Lambeau in the parking lot right over here, which is kind of cool. I mean, this is a neat view. And then, it's awesome looking.
Are they going to have a watch party? Like, if you can't get actually in there, they're going to have it open, like the stadium open where you can watch it on the Jumbotron? If they don't, they should.
So I'm sure they will, because it looks like if you look on this screen right here, they have this here.
Yeah.
And they have the draft board here and everything. So, and they have two boards, one here, one here. So I'm sure they're going to.
Happy, man.
Yeah. And it looks like right here in this section, they're going to have a lot of things like where you play games and interact with things right in this area here. So
they have that at the draft. They had it in Philadelphia back in, I believe, 2017, right around the art museum when I went. So that was cool.
So Green Bay is definitely setting themselves up for success when it comes to the 2025 NFL draft.
Yeah.
So we will be here for night 1, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Huddle Up Podcast Twitch channel for the watch along. We're going to start a pre-show at 7:30 to get you guys ready for the 8 p.m. start time of the draft on April 24th, Thursday night. And then Friday night, I'll be here for night number 2 for round 2 and 3 because we will not be here on Sunday the 27th. We are going to be taking that day off. So I will be here for night 2 for a watch along as well. John, you will not be here for night number 2. So,
but I have to work.
But some cool things with the NFL draft coming up. I'm pretty excited. We're getting closer. If you guys want to, I put up my first personal mock draft over on the TikTok channel over at the Huddle Hub Pod on TikTok. If you guys want to go check that out right now, I'll be doing another mock draft sometime this week. I'll be posting another one. But I did my first one, and finding that digital site was really cool. I can't believe I came across that. I was like, this is kind of cool. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to sit here and write it down.
A couple of them out there. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. So the one that you found is awesome. The one that I found is pretty awesome. So, pretty cool. So, but I'm excited for the draft coming up. But also head over to our other socials on X at the Huddle Hub Pod and also on YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. So the Huddle Hub Pod everywhere. Yeah. That's it. Just the Huddle Hub Podcast here on Twitch. So, but John, the UFL, as we know, kicked off. We have a couple scores that went final. The Stallions moved to 2-1 to defeat the Renegades 10-9. The Renegades are now 2-1. The Roughnecks moved to 1-2 after defeating the Showboats, who are now 0-3, 18-17. Today we have the Brahmas at 0-2 playing the 1-1 Panthers at noontime, and the Defenders and Battlehawks play at 3 p.m. The winner continues to be undefeated. The loser gets the L in the loss column. So we'll be down to one undefeated team at the end of the day when it comes to the UFL. But do you have anything on the games that have already occurred?
Very, very close games, and some of these games have been very low scoring. Like, I feel like last year, maybe it was because it was new and it was exciting, but I feel like it doesn't have the same. It's not the same as last year to me, anyways.
Well, we had talked about this a few weeks ago that the UFL. The one problem that they had this year was they didn't have a lot of promoting. They didn't do a lot of promoting this year for this season. Like last year, they were all over the place. I mean, you were watching NFL games on Fox, and literally every commercial break, coming this spring, the UFL, like you were getting hit with promoting. This year, you were lucky if you got one promotion per game on Fox for the UFL.
Yeah. I mean, they must be going right because they're talking about expanding to two more teams next season. That's a word going around. So
yeah,
it must be going how they're planning it to go. So if that's the case, go for it. Keep this league around as long as you can.
Well, I don't think they're going to end up. I don't think they're going to end up going anywhere. I think this league is going to be pretty successful. I mean, they got a lot of financial backing as well. So with the financial backing, they can still keep things going. I mean, on Friday night, the game that was on Friday night, I believe it was the Stallions game, was live on X. And the bad part is you look at the stadium 5 minutes before kickoff, and there wasn't a lot of people in the stands, less people than last year, which really stinks. And I think opening the market to other cities, because some of these cities, they're not traditional football towns.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. If they go to a football town like a Philadelphia or a Cleveland, Ohio, somewhere that's a football town, then they might get more into the crowd. You know what I mean? So, All right, Jamie, thank you. Appreciate you stopping in. But if they went to a football town and had a team, I'm sure they'd be able to put butts in the seats. It's hard when you don't go to a football town. Yeah.
The St. Louis Battlehawks, man, they were the top in attendance last year. That's a football town. They've missed football since they lost the Rams, man. They show up for the Battlehawks.
Yeah. So, but even St. Louis, with having the Rams in St. Louis, I think they're more of a baseball town than they are a football town. You know what I mean? Now, if they focus on going to football towns,
I don't know about that. I don't know. They're hungry for a football team over there.
Okay.
Like if the NFL would come back, I guarantee you that team would do better than the Cardinals, especially the current state of the Cardinals.
Well, St. Louis is definitely the most when it comes to embracing the UFL. St. Louis is actually at the top of the rankings right now when it comes to attendance, with having 32,115 tickets distributed to the Battlehawks 2025 season opener. So they had 32,000 people in attendance.
I told you, man, that's a football town. They're starved for it.
Which is great. But what I'd really like to do is dig deep and really look and see what the percentages are. Actually, here we go. The Roughnecks kicked off their season Friday, March 28th. Houston had 7,124 fans in the crowd. The Arlington Renegades, they drew 10,114 fans against the Brahmas. Memphis only had 4,373. And while DC, the Defenders, they had 12,254. So DC is probably in second place right now when it comes to attendance for UFL games. Too. Yeah, it is. It is. Because, the Nationals, they won a World Series at some point the year after Harper left. But after that, the Nationals haven't done much of anything.
That's because they had a fire sale and got rid of everybody after they won it, so they're rebuilding.
So, looking at attendance right now, St. Louis in first, DC in second, I would really like to get this statistic together, do some studying, and see what the attendance percentage is, even adding into last year, and see who's had the most attendance so far when it comes to the UFL. I would love to do that.
I guarantee you it's St. Louis. They put up the best numbers out of all the 8 teams.
But
you it's St. Louis.
But again, Birmingham getting the win 10-9 over Arlington yesterday. Birmingham put up 308 total yards on offense, while Arlington put up 252. Birmingham had 10 penalties yesterday or on Friday night, which is crazy. 10 penalties. They had 15 first downs, 6 less than Arlington. But still ended up walking out with the win. So, yeah, the other thing that really surprises me when it comes to the UFL is, viewership on TV. Why are not a lot of people watching? You know what I mean? Yeah, the games are close.
The Friday night game was a mistake. I think that one was a mistake. I don't know if people are going to stay home to watch what some people consider as a B league or, the not quite NFL league. I don't consider it that way, but
no,
I feel like a lot of people just don't take it seriously enough.
Once this league grows, I think people will start taking it a little more seriously. And again, I know these are players that either didn't get drafted or they came out of D2 or D3 schools.
Journeyman in the NFL, just looking to keep their skills sharp.
Yeah. So, But the Memphis Showboats, they end up losing to the Roughnecks 18-17. Memphis put up 261 yards of offense, while Houston put up 238. 6 penalties on Houston. Memphis had 4. And Houston had 2 less first downs, 12-14. But time of possession.
Last week.
What's that?
When you asked me what team has a shot of going 5-0, I said, well, Arlington, I don't trust them. They lost. And I said the winner of the Battlehawks versus Defenders, which I'm expecting it to be the Battlehawks, today at 3 p.m., they're going to be the team that goes 5-0.
Yeah.
So,
but
we'll
on
see how this goes.
Yeah. When it comes to statistics, EJ Perry over in Memphis went 13 of 20, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 60.6 rating. EJ Perry, an ex-NFL player. Statistics not looking too hot in the UFL.
He's always been shaky for Memphis. Like I haven't been a big fan of him.
But I think the UFL, again, once they extend things and they start getting more teams into the league, start getting some teams into football towns, and promoting is a big thing. I mean, if you have fans out there that, that's a big thing. Get your fans to start promoting this too. Do something to get your fans to be excited to say, I'm going to jump to social media and post something. You know what I mean? Because, that's one thing. I mean, a lot of companies do that. They rely on people that like their product to promote for them. Word of mouth, get it out there. And yeah, these games are close, but the closeness shows competitiveness. Yeah, there's not a lot of yardage. Well, that's because the defense is playing good. It's not so much the offense is playing bad sometimes. It's the defense is playing good.
I'm not going to lie, though. If I'm watching a game, like I'll say like the Renegades and Stallions, for example, a game of field goals, basically. At halftime, it was 9-0. The end of the third, it was 9-3. I would have flipped it off by the fourth quarter. I'm not going to lie. That's too slow pace of a game for me.
Well, but we got the Defenders at 2-0 taking on the Battlehawks at 2-0 at 3 p.m. today. But the Brahmas kick off against the Panthers. The 0-2 Brahmas, the 1-1 Panthers in about 10 minutes kickoff. So we'll have to see
on
what
ABC,
happens there.
Both games today on ABC.
Yeah. So I just seen something that popped up. Is this viable to read? Yeah, no, I'm not bringing that up. No, it's not viable.
Okay, don't do it.
Thought it was breaking news. No,
It's a trick.
No, it's not. It's not viable.
It's a trick.
So, John, next week we got our 2.0 version of our mock draft. Last week was a fun time doing the mock draft. The one thing I think that hit us hard was the fact of not being as organized as we probably should have, but we plan on taking care of that for next week. Plan on being a little more organized with our mock draft. But other than that, I think it was a great mock draft for being our very first one ever doing, because we'd never done a mock draft before.
I know.
I mean, last year we did a mock draft. We each picked for a team. Like if the Giants were up, you picked for the Giants, I picked for the Giants. We each picked for that team. But us, you representing the NFC, me representing the AFC teams. I think for doing it that way for the first time ever went pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but looking over it, I think we did pretty well. But next week will be a little more organized to the fact where I think things will be a lot better. And a lot more efficient, I'd have to say. Just like how we did our predictions, our 1.0 predictions. We did that pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
To the point where we have playoffs.
We're up to the playoffs.
We have the playoffs. So, John, we'll do this like we normally do. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll run through the wild card round of the playoffs. You'll make your prediction, then I'll make my prediction, then we'll move to the divisional round, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how we'll do this. First off, I want to give the statistic on how this went. I just want to write this down really quick. I want to make sure that
Right.
we have this written down. So, John, first off, in the NFC, your number 1 seed is the 49ers. You have them going 14-3. The Commanders would be your second seed with the NFC East Championship at 13-4. The Buccaneers are going to be your NFC South champions at 12-5, with the Packers being 12-5 as well as your North champions. Your 5th seed is the Eagles at 12-5, Lions at 11-6, and the Rams at 11-6, 6 and 7 seeds. In the AFC, you got the Bengals at the 1 seed at 13-4, with the Bills at 13-4 with the 2nd seed. Okay. The Chargers at 13-4 with the 3rd seed. The Texans 10-7 with the 4th seed. The Ravens at 13-4 with the 5th seed. Broncos 12-5 with the 6th seed. Chiefs at 11-6 being the 7th seed. You got the Chiefs as the 7th seed.
Yeah. I mean, 11-6 is still a good record.
No, not bad. Not bad at all. For me, I got the Eagles at 15-2 in the NFC, having home field advantage. Buccaneers 13-4 at the 2 seed. Lions at 12-5 at the 3rd seed. The Rams at 10-7 with the 4th seed. I got the Packers at 12-5 with the 5th seed. The 49ers and the Panthers both 10-7. 49ers to 6, Panthers at the 7th seed. For the AFC, I got the Bills at 15-2, and since they got the win over the Bengals and the Texans, they get the number 1 seed, okay? But the Texans and Bengals both went 15-2. I have the Texans beating the Bengals, so the Texans have that win over the Bengals, you know. So both went 15-2. The Chiefs are the 4th seed at 11-6. Now, Chiefs are 11-6 for both of us, but the Chiefs win the West on my end. The Ravens at 14-3 with the 5th seed. The Broncos at 10-7 with the 6th seed. And the Dolphins just squeaking in at 9-8 over the Raiders, who went 9-8 as the 7th seed. So, John, your first matchup. Your first matchup is the Bills, who are going to be hosting the Chiefs. Who do you got winning that game?
Bills hosting the Chiefs.
Yes.
Oy vey.
2 seed hosting the 7 seed.
That's a tough one. Bills hosting the Chiefs. Well, I'm going to continue the trend, and the Chiefs usually have the Bills number, so I'm going to say the 7th seed upsets the 2 seed.
Oh, okay. So you got the Chiefs being the 7th seed winning, and which
Josh
means
Allen's kryptonite.
which means they would automatically head to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals in the divisional round. Okay.
Yep.
Do you have the Chargers would be hosting the Broncos?
Their division round matchup. As much as I like the Chargers, I'm gonna go with Denver here. I just have a feeling that I'm gonna go with Denver. I just have a feeling they're gonna have another collapse yet. I'm not 100% convinced they're not a one and done team yet.
Okay. So you got the Broncos winning.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your final matchup will be the Ravens at the Texans.
Oh, that's an easy one. The Ravens are going to do that hands down.
Okay. So you got the Texans being one and done?
Yep. All upsets in the first round.
Yeah, I'd say.
Wow. I don't think that's ever happened in the NFL before.
I don't think so either. I don't. Okay. Well, on the NFC side of things, you would have the Commanders hosting the Rams.
Oh, that's an easy one. Commanders are going to beat the Rams.
Okay. So you got the Commanders beating the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams they're good enough to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're good enough to make a deep run.
Okay. You got the Buccaneers hosting the Lions.
That's a tough one. That is a real tough one. I think despite the Buccaneers' effort, I think the Lions are going to go in there and beat them, prove last year's injury season was a fluke.
Okay.
Not saying they didn't go make the playoffs last year, but they didn't really go anywhere.
Last one, Eagles at Packers, the flip-flop from this year.
Packers, they did a step forward for me. They won the North, but even hosting Philadelphia, I think Philadelphia's got too many powers and too many pushes to push.
Okay. So you got the Eagles over the Packers.
Yeah, the Eagles are going to show them the error of their ways for trying to get the tush-push banned.
Okay.
Hit them hard with it.
Okay. So that means in the divisional round, you would have the, let's see, you have the Buccaneers losing to the Lions. Lions last seed remaining, so you would have the Lions. Don't make your prediction yet.
I won't.
So you'll have the Lions at the 49ers, who are your 1 seed. And then you would have the Eagles heading to Washington.
Yep.
In a rematch of the NFC Championship.
Yep.
Okay. And then in the AFC, you have the Chiefs automatically heading to Cincinnati. Okay. And then you have the Broncos, Ravens. You have the Broncos heading to the Ravens.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So those are your divisional round matchups. So it is my turn to make my predictions. Okay. For the wild card round. So the Eagles are my number 1 seed. I'll do the AFC first since I did the AFC first for you. Make sure I have this evenly split. I'm going to rewrite this anyways and make it look a lot better than what I'm doing. So I have the Dolphins heading to Houston to take on the Texans. I got the Texans winning. I don't think the Dolphins. Again, the Dolphins are just going to sneak in, but I don't think they go into Houston and take out the Texans. So I got the Texans beating them. The Broncos will head into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Again, if you would look at today, and this is basically based on what things would look like today. Like if you put the team that they have in the organization today, the one thing that the Broncos would have over the Bengals is defense. The Bengals defense right now is just not together. So this is a tough one. I'm going to go Broncos. I'm going to say Broncos come in and upset. Because I think the one thing they have over the Bengals today would be that defense. So Broncos upset the Bengals. And then I got the Ravens at the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs this year, I think they're going to take that step back. But the Ravens have had a lot of trouble when it comes to the Chiefs. So I'm going to say the Chiefs win.
Why I went with Kansas City over Buffalo. They always seem to have the Bills number 2.
Yeah. In an NFC South matchup, the Panthers head into Tampa Bay to take on the Bucs. This is going to be Bryce Young's first taste of playoff football. It's going to be Baker Mayfield's third taste of playoff football with the Buccaneers. And I think he finally gets past the wild card round. Well, he got past it 2 years ago.
He beat the Eagles.
Yeah, he beat the Eagles. So, second time. I think he beats the Panthers. I don't think Bryce Young has a successful first round of the playoffs, but this is a taste of things to come. So, Buccaneers over the Panthers. I got the 49ers heading into Detroit to take on the Lions. If I had to look at it today, I'm sorry, John, the Lions, they have a more put together defense. Their offense is there. I have to say the Lions over the Niners right now. And again, this can all change.
Picks, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 more of these to do as the year go before we even get kicking off in September. So this can all change. This could. Right now, I think the Lions will go in and beat the 49ers. And then I got the Packers heading into Los Angeles to take on the Rams. I'm just going to say this right now. The Packers, they're going to take that step forward. I think the Packers beat the Rams. So both of us have the Rams gone in the first round.
Yep.
So with that being said, I have the Broncos, who were the lowest seed remaining. They will head into Buffalo to take on the Bills. And the Chiefs head into Houston to take on the Texans. And then in the NFC, I got the Packers, who are the lowest seed remaining, heading into Philly. And I got the Lions heading into Tampa to take on the Bucs. Okay, now I can get this book out of my way because this was kind of in my way. I'm still going to need that in a minute, but there's a reason why. But for right now, I don't need it. So in the divisional round, John, you would have let's start with the AFC, the Broncos taking on the Ravens.
Okay, Broncos taking on the Ravens.
Yep.
No, because they
in Baltimore.
In Baltimore?
Yep, in Baltimore.
I'm going to say the Broncos take a step forward. They got to the divisional round, but it's in Baltimore. I think the Ravens are just too strong of a team for them.
Okay. And then you have the Chiefs heading into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals.
I agree that I think the Chiefs do take a step backwards this year, and I think this is where they take a step backwards. Joe Burrow usually has Patrick Mahomes' number, so I'm going to go with Cincinnati, showing everybody why they're the number one seed.
Oh, all right. So your AFC title game is the Ravens
NFC North match
at the Bengals.
I mean, AFC North, I mean.
Yeah. Over on the NFC side of things, you have the Lions heading into San Francisco to take on the number one seed at 49ers.
All right. Lions heading into San Francisco. Oh, give me one moment. I have to plug my laptop in. It's about to die. It's right. I was hoping it would last the whole time. But all right. I'm not sure what to expect out of the 49ers this year. I expect them to make the playoffs because of their easy schedule. But once they get into the playoffs, that's a whole nother ball game. So I'm going to play it safe. And I'm going to say the Lions upset them in San Francisco because I already know what the Lions look like. I know what the Lions to expect. I don't know what to expect out of the 49ers this year. So it's a big question mark, especially that defense. So I'm going to say the Lions get revenge for the conference championship game 2 years ago, which they should have won, by the way. But I'm going with Detroit.
Okay, so the 6-seeded Lions, are they heading to Philly or are they heading to Washington?
Well, I said the Commanders would take the leap this year. They would take that step further. I have them beating the Eagles in their home stadium. So I think the Commanders are going to show everybody why they won the East. And they're going to host the conference championship game and make their second straight conference championship game appearance.
Okay, awesome. So your AFC title game will be the Ravens at the Bengals, Lions at the Commanders for the NFC title game.
Yeah,
for me, in the divisional round, the Broncos and the Bills first up. The Bills, I said it last year, John, and you were kind of questionable when I said it. I think the Bills are going to do a lot better than people expected them. What'd they do? They went 13-4. Okay.
Yeah, with no receivers. So, yeah, that's why I questioned them.
Okay. I think the Bills are going to take I think the Bills are going to win this game. I can't sit here and say the Bills don't make it to the AFC title game. I have them as the number one seed. They host. It's as simple as that. So I got the Bills defeating the Broncos. The question is, Chiefs or Texans? I think the Chiefs take a humongous step back this year. I do. And we sat here and said it. Yeah, whether they won by 1 point, 6 points, 10 points, 20 points, 30 points, whatever, you win. It's a win. But this is the furthest I think they get. I think the Texans realize that they took a humongous step back this past season. I think they clean up the mess that they had to clean up. And I think they have a much better season than they did. I got the Texans beating the Chiefs in the divisional round of the playoffs, therefore heading to Buffalo for the AFC title game. In the NFC side of things, Packers, Eagles. I mean, this has become a traditional matchup of a rivalry that's kind of hidden. Packers, Eagles is a hidden rivalry. Okay?
Really?
In a small sense.
I don't
It
really
does.
consider that a rivalry.
I mean, it's become a pretty small one. It's not big, it's small, but it's there. Okay? I don't see the Packers going into Philadelphia and beating the Eagles. I don't. Would it be a close game? Yes. But I don't see the Packers going into Philly and beating the Eagles. The question lies is, who would the Eagles host? The Lions or the Bucks? The Lions, I say it all the time. I've been saying it for a while, that there's a piece of a puzzle missing of them getting over the hump that they need to get over. They're going into Tampa, as I have it right now, to take on the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have been stopped in the divisional round. 2 years ago, stopped in the wild card round. Can't get over their own hump. This is going to be a game of inches for these two teams. I say the Lions. They find that piece of the puzzle to get over the hump. They get to back to the NFC title game. Therefore, I got the Lions and Eagles.
Well, we both think the Lions are going to make the conference championship. Interesting.
Yep. So, John, for you, Ravens-Bengals AFC title game in Cincinnati. What do you got?
Well, see, Joe Burrow, he's too good not to get a ring. And now he has his two receivers locked in for 4 years. I believe that defense will be fine. They showed it in the second half of last year when they figured it out, and they almost made the playoffs. Missed it by one game. So I feel like it's in Cincinnati. The Ravens are going to put up a good fight because it's a division rivalry. It's going to be hard hitting, but the Bengals are going to pull it out at the end.
Okay. And then you got the Lions heading into Washington.
This is a tough one for me. I really like what the Commanders have done in the offseason. The Lions are built to win. It's going to be two juggernauts hitting each other. But I still think that addition to Deebo Samuel is going to give them that little X factor, that little push that they needed to win close games. I have Washington beating the Lions and going to the Super Bowl.
All right. So your Super Bowl 60 matchup is the Bengals and the Commanders.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder how many people are going to pick that one.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. My AFC title game would be the Texans and the Bills. The Texans, they get over that divisional round loss hump, finally make it to the AFC title game, but that's where the bus is going to stop. The Bills are going to get to where they should have been this past year. It should have been the Bills and Eagles. Therefore, the Bills are going to win this game and head to the Super Bowl. And like I said last year, this past year, Super Bowl 59 should have been the Bills-Eagles. It's going to be the Bills and Eagles in Super Bowl 60.
Lions sure you were going to say Texans. I really did.
Lions get stopped again. Eagles win. Eagles, Bills, Super Bowl 60. John, Bengals, Commanders.
Bengals, Commanders. Good young team with the Commanders. solid team against with the Bengals. Like I said it earlier, Burrow will get a ring eventually, so it's gonna be this year. I feel like Chase and Higgins are really gonna step up for Burrow, and there's gonna be no answering for them. There's gonna be no answer to them, and the Bengals are just gonna show just right out the gate which is the better team and win.
So you got the Bengals.
Yeah.
I got the Bills making it back to the Super Bowl for the first time in a very, very long time. They made 4 Super Bowls in a row back in the 90s. Couldn't get over
94.
that hump. Yeah. Couldn't get over that hump. They finally make it back to the Super Bowl, but they are facing a juggernaut of an Eagles team who did not lose a lot of players in the offseason. Are going to do fairly well in the draft, I think. And I still think they got a couple moves in them to bring in some players to help out on offense and defense. I got the Eagles repeating. I do. I got the Eagles repeating. The Eagles are built too big and tough right now to not sit here and say this early that they're going to repeat. It's not too soon to say that. And I'm not saying that as an Eagles fan. I'm not. And again, this could change. This could change when we do this again after the draft. This could change
The Eagles
before.
are too good to not consider them. Saquon Barkley was the missing piece of their puzzle. That was clear. He picked up that offense and carried it on his back. I mean,
but then we get to the
clear.
But then we get to the Super Bowl and Jalen Hurts just lit things up.
Yeah, he had to because they stopped Barkley.
Well, but facing all doubters of whether Jalen Hurts can throw the ball. Does he have to give the ball to Saquon all the time? No. 67 yards in the Super Bowl rushing. That was it. Got stopped. Let's put the ball in the air. Let's give it to Devontae. Let's give it to AJ. They even gave it to Jahan Dotson.
But to be fair, though, he really wasn't having that good of a year passing the ball. So I can understand why there was doubters.
Well, I think Jalen Hurts silenced the doubters. And I think he's going to have I think this season, I think he's going to be in the MVP race this year. Just saying.
We'll see.
Just saying. So in the 1.0, you got the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. I got the Eagles repeating. And that's that. We'll do another one after the draft. We'll do our next one after the draft. And then we'll do one. We're going to do our one after that before preseason starts. And then we'll do our last one before the season kicks off in September. So we got 3 more of these to do. But I'm going to. This is the chicken scratch right now that I did. I'm going to rewrite this. This is a mess.
Go for it.
This is a mess. I will be rewriting this. So, but John, that's it, man. That's all we got for today. Like I said, 60 to 90 minutes. Not a long show. Not a long show. And next week, John, we got the 2.0 version of our mock draft that we're going to have situated for everybody. As you see at the bottom, it says thank you for joining us, which we'll be doing next week, 2.0. But I'll be representing the NFC teams. John will be representing the AFC teams in our 2.0 version of our mock draft. One last time before we shout out and get out of here that on April 24th, we'll be here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Night 1 draft, round 1 of the NFL draft. We have a pre-show before the show starts. We'll get you guys ready.
Yeah.
And we'll do a watch along here on the Huddle Hub Podcast Twitch channel. And then I will be here for night number 2, round 3. So Friday night. So join us there. Also head over to all the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias, X, TikTok, and YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod, where you can see replays of all the shows that you missed. And special content too, as well as, my mock draft that I just did this past week. So, but John, your socials are going to be on the bottom here. What do you want to let the people know?
Get on over. Twitch, right? I mean, to my Twitch, I've been streaming here and there, a little Dead by Daylight, little WWE 2K, and YouTube. Coming the week of Easter, I will be dropping a lot of videos, so check it out. I'm going to be finally starting to reveal my WWE Universe mode. I just finished filming Backlash. yesterday, my first PLE. So my goal is to try to get ahead of schedule as far as posting. So I'm trying to make as many episodes as I can before that drop, because every couple days a new show is going to be dropping.
Awesome. So make sure you're heading over to John's Twitch and YouTube, checking out all the content that he's putting out right now. I'm excited to check out this content. I can't wait till you start putting it out.
Yeah,
I
it's
am.
just a lot of fun.
I'm excited. I can't wait. Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch is where you can catch me, Metal Mike 714. As far as shows here, me and John will be back next Sunday for our Mock Draft 2.0 here on the Huddle Up Podcast, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow night over on Rivet City Radio's Twitch, you can catch me and Cam for the Raw watch along. And then afterwards, you can catch us for the table spot. And then on Wednesday for the Boom with Cam and Phil on Rivet City Radio's Twitch and Off the Top Media's YouTube channel after AEW Dynamite. John, let's get out of here, man. We're done.
All right, everybody. Have a good day. Break. The huddle is broken.
That's right. The huddle has been broken. Thank you for watching us. As I always say, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until next Sunday for our Mock Draft 2.0. Deuces, everybody. Have a great Sunday.